Hi, welcome back to Movie Recap Zone. Today, I'm going to explain a mind-blowing romantic, thriller film from 2021 titled, The Voyeurs. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie starts with Pippa, excitedly walking toward the building that will be her new home soon. Her boyfriend Thomas is already inside and signing the lease for their new apartment. He nonchalantly mentions how he feels like giving up his life. The broker tells him that no alteration can be made to this apartment, and they can't even hang anything from the ceiling, not even undergarments. Thomas stays quiet for a while and agrees. Anyway, they quickly settle in, and they're happy living together. At night they have a quaint dinner, right by the large windows that envelope their apartment. While eating, Pippa tells Thomas she doesn't want to have kids for the next 4 years, which Thomas agrees. Since they've spent most of their youth in the medical school, Pippa wants to enjoy the remaining days of her being rebelliously young, to which Thomas cheerfully agrees too. As they kiss and profess their endless love, a light flashes, they watch a couple having injection games, right across the street in the front building. They curiously have a look and see a man photographing a woman. Pippa feels it's wrong to spy on their neighbors, causing her to look away. Although Tom likes it, but he's made to stop at Pippa's insistence. That evening, Pippa puts on her newly purchased lingerie, and wants to celebrate their first night in the new place. The couple are supposed to have a satisfying injection game that night. But Pippa is disappointed, because Thomas is already fast asleep. On the following day Pippa talks to her coworker Ari, what her neighbor did last night and how she could completely see them. They both work at an optical shop. While on duty, her boss gives her a bird feeder as a housewarming present. Pippa comes back home and finds Thomas's drawing. She loves it and greets him. They both apparently begin to spy on their neighbors again, even giving their unknown neighbor pseudonames like the man Brent and the girl Margot. Suddenly, they see Brent chalking. Tom wants to call 911, but Pippa refuses and tells him they would find out he was spying on them. However, Margot sees Brent chalking and saves him. One night Pippa wakes up to have a drink, and she sees Brent and Margot having a mouth exercise game. Pippa gets turned on by Brent's fine features and chiseled physique. She even imagines Brent biting her lips, as she imagined more. Unexpectedly, the assumed unaware Brent sees Pippa, making her glass of water drop in shock. One night Pippa buys a pair of binoculars. They use that to spy on Brent, who's having an injection game with another girl when his wife is not home. The couple is thrilled to see this action. Meanwhile, Pippa is triggered by this and rides Thomas's horse. But Pippa is not satisfied after Thomas's liquid came out quick. At night Pippa can't sleep. She feels bad for Margot that she's in love with a cheating life partner. Seeing this, we understand that something isn't right with Pippa. She kind of desires to know more about this couple. One day, Thomas and Pippa meet with their friends for lunch. With her ever-growing curiosity, Pippa wants if there was a way to actually listen to their conversation. Thomas' sister says there is a way to listen on another room using a laser pointer, but it requires a reflective surface to send the laser beam back them. Pippa convinces Thomas to construct something like that. And luckily, their neighbor seems to be throwing a costume party for the Halloween. They disguise themselves as among the guests, and sneaks in. They place a hidden mirror so that the laser light could bounce back and transmit the audio from their apartment. When they're about to leave, Tom sees Brent leaving the bathroom, and sees a disheveled woman with smeared lipstick and makeups. Seriously Brent, how many girls are into you? Anyway, Thomas and Pippa leave the party, and set up all the equipment so they can hear them. Finally, when they hear them, they hear Margot is accusing Brent for having horse riding games with the ladies in their party that night. But Brent doesn't accept her accusations, and he roughly dismisses her and asks if she still loves him. Margot says she's sorry. But Brent unintentionally hurts her, breaking her glasses. Back at Tom and Pippa, they both are stunned and speechless over what they had just witnessed. This was not the type of conversation they were hoping to hear. It only caused an aura of guilt to fill the atmosphere. On the following day Pippa gets surprised when she sees Margot in the clinic, and gets to know that Margot's real name is Julia, and she's looking for a new pair of eyeglasses. Without much trouble they both exchange numbers, and Julia even offers for them to hang out sometime. Meanwhile, Thomas is working on his project. He notices yet another girl came to his house, and have injection games. When Pippa comes back home, she excitedly shares that she meets Julia today, and she wants to be friends with her. Pippa's planning on telling her all about her husband's infidelity, but Thomas disagrees and says we should not interfere other people's personal life. But she's already made up her mind and asserts that it's the morally correct thing to do. They get into an argument, and Pippa leaves in anger. Tom looks at their neighbor, where Margot is wearing a hot dress and wants to ride Brent's horse. Brent's real name is Sebastian, but he's still angry with her, and leaves her alone. The next day, Pippa meets Julia for a hangout and have lunch, but instead they go to a spa. They talk a lot to each other about their lives. Later that night, when Thomas fell asleep, Pippa gets into action. She connects Julia's wireless printer with Thomas's computer, which she uses to expose Sebastian's wandering eye. Thomas catches her and is very furious with her. They get into an argument, but it's quickly cut off when they notice Julia taking out a large knife and walking towards Sebastian. Thomas decides to call the cops, but, thankfully, Julia can't kill him and stops, leaving Tom and Pippa breathless. The next morning, Tom breaks the binoculars, and decides not to spy on their neighbor anymore. They both felt sorry and hug each other. But suddenly, they seize that Julia committed suicide. She killed herself using the knife last night. Tom says it's your fault. If you didn't tell her about her husband's affair, then things might have go otherwise. Thomas says I'm done with you, and breaks up with her. Pippa is very sad and goes to a bar to have a drink. Coincidentally, she finds Sebastian there. Sebastian sees her and goes to talk to her. He says, I think I saw you before, aren't you the girl from the Halloween party? They talk to each other, and Seb invite her to his apartment to have a photo session. She agrees to go. During the photo session he asks her to take her shirt off. She does. He then asks for undress herself as well. Feeling reluctant, Pippa tries not to, but the lust she had for Sebastian were burning through her veins, so she does that too. Sebastian walks closer to him and steals a kiss from her. Pippa has been long waiting for this moment. She kisses him back and they have injection games too. On the other side, Tom feels sorry for Pippa, so he comes back with flowers to apologize to her, only to find Pippa is riding Sebastian's horse. When Pippa comes back home, her tears roll down seeing Thomas has hanged himself. She feels guilty and blames herself for all that happened. Ari comes to comfort her, and tells her not to blame herself. One day Pippa attends Sebastian's exhibition. When Sebastian was about to make his speech, Pippa's jaw drops to the floor when she sees Julia is emerging from the crowd and is completely unharmed and safe. But she becomes speechless when the first photo of the exhibition is revealed, and it's none other than hers, completely undressed in Sebastian's apartment. Julia explained the story of Pippa and Tom, their neighbors, who had been spying on them for this whole time. One by one, all of the photos are revealed in front of the audience. Pippa feels shocked, stunned and ashamed. She rushes out and hurries to Sebastian and Julia's apartment, where she finds a door in the ceiling. The room is full of shooting and spying cams. She destroys the room in her frustration and anger, causing thousands of dollars worth of damages. Meanwhile, Julia and Seb are having an interview about the project that has gone worldwide viral and make millions of dollars. On the other side, Pippa is demonstrated to have revenge. When Julia's and Sebastian were drinking and celebrating their success, their wireless printer suddenly starts printing some sinister messages. It says Thomas didn't kill himself, I know you killed him. They spots Pippa on the rooftop, but she quickly runs away. She goes into L'Optique, where she works, leaving Seb and Julia to follow her. Pippa gets cornered by them. They asks her why she accused them of killing Thomas. Pippa says that while she and Sebastian were making out, Julia poisoned Thomas's drink and made it look like he killed himself. Julia tells her that she has no proof and suddenly, she falls unconscious. It turns out that the drink they had earlier was a little gift from her, and was poisoned. Before Sebastian loses his consciousness too, she tells him to take a good look at her because it would be the last thing he would ever see. Pippa then drags them to the machine and burns their retinas. A few days later, a new couple has moved into Pippa's old apartment, and is surprised to see Sebastian and Julia wake up in their apartment as both of them are blinded. They look out the window with a sign of regret on their faces. Meanwhile, Pippa watches over them one last time, satisfied fulfilling her revenge. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like button if you did, subscribe if you're new. And at last, I'll say stay well, stay safe, thanks.